It was a sunny day in Ethiopia as Audio trekked home with his goats. He was a boy of 12, with nimble feet and a curious mind, always searching for stories in the wind. His father, Olabode, often warned him, "The desert listens, Audio. When it speaks, even the bravest men tremble." But Audio only laughed, kicking up sand as he chased after a stray kid. That evening, as the sky bled into twilight, Audio saw them, two glowing eyes peering from the crest of a dune. Not the yellow gleam of a hyena or the sharp stare of a desert fox, but something deeper, wiser. They blinked once, then vanished. "Did you see that?" Audio whispered to his sister, Amina, who was mending a basket nearby. Amina rolled her eyes. "See what? Another one of your wild tales?" But Audio knew what he saw. That night, as the village fire crackled and the elders shared stories of ancient spirits, he slipped away, following the whispers of the wind. The dunes shifted under his feet, leading him to a hidden oasis where the water shimmered like liquid silver. And there, sitting on a rock, was a creature unlike any he had ever seen, a fox with fur like molten copper and those same glowing eyes. "You're a bold one, little human," the fox said, tail flicking. "Or a foolish one." Audio's heart pounded, but he stood his ground. "Who? What are you?" The fox grinned, sharp teeth glinting. "Names have power, boy. But you may call me Dyke, the trickster of the sands." The next morning, Audio returned to the village, his pockets filled with strange golden pebbles Dyke had given him. But when he showed them to Amina, they crumbled to dust. "You've been fooled by a desert spirit," she scolded, but Audio was undeterred. That night, Dyke returned, this time with a challenge. "Bring me the golden comb from the Lion Queen's den, and I'll grant you a wish." Audio, ever eager, accepted. With the help of the village's mightiest and most boastful warrior, Jelani, and the sly but kind-hearted trader, Farouk, he set off. Their journey was anything but smooth. They crossed paths with the singing serpent, a snake whose melodies could lull men to sleep forever. Jelani, thinking himself invincible, marched right up, only to collapse in a snoring heap. It was Amina who saved them, tossing a handful of chili powder into the serpent's mouth, making it cough and slither away in a huff. Then came the mirage leopard, a beast that could split into a dozen illusions. Farouk, ever the trickster himself, outsmarted it by scattering shiny beads in the sand, confusing the creature until it ran in circles and gave up. Finally, they reached the Lion Queen's den, only to find her not a beast, but a regal woman with a mane of golden hair. "You seek my comb?" she mused. "Then answer me this. What is the one thing the desert cannot hide?" Audio thought hard. "A shadow?" The Lion Queen laughed. "No, child, the truth." And with that, she handed him the comb. But when Audio returned to Dyke, the fox only cackled. "Oh, little human, did you really think I'd keep my word?" With a flick of his tail, he vanished into the dunes. Audio was furious, until he realized the comb was no ordinary trinket. When he ran it through his hair, his reflection showed not himself, but the hidden paths of the desert. Dyke had tricked him, but in doing so, had given him something far greater, the desert's secrets. News of Audio's adventure spread through the village like wildfire. The elders shook their heads, muttering about foolish children and desert spirits, but the younger ones, especially Kofi, the mischievous goat herder, begged Audio for more stories. "Tell us about the Lion Queen again," Kofi pleaded, his eyes wide. Audio smirked. "Ah, but that's old news. Have you heard of the Laughing Oasis?" Amina, who had been grinding millet nearby, paused. "Audio, don't go making up more nonsense." "It's not nonsense," Audio insisted. "Dyke told me about it. A paradise where the water sparkles like diamonds, and the trees drip with honey, but if you drink, you'll laugh until you forget to breathe." Jelani, sharpening his spear nearby, scoffed. "Sounds like a coward's tale. If such a place existed, I would have found it by now." Farouk, ever the opportunist, rubbed his chin. "Honey, you say? And no one else has taken it? That sounds like a business opportunity." Audio grinned. "Then let's go." The next morning, the four of them, Audio, Amina, Jelani, and Farouk, set off into the deeper desert, following the whispers of the wind. The dunes stretched endlessly, and the sun burned hotter with each step. By midday, they stumbled upon a sight that made even Jelani pause, a shimmering pool of water, surrounded by palm trees heavy with golden fruit. The air smelled sweet, like ripe mangoes and sugarcane. Farouk licked his lips. At last, fortune awaits. He rushed forward, but Amina grabbed his arm. Wait, she warned. Remember what Audio said. Jelani rolled his eyes. Fear is for the weak. He marched to the water's edge, cupped his hands, and drank deeply. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, Jelani burst into laughter. Not just a chuckle, but a roaring, knee-slapping, tear-streaming fit of hysteria. He collapsed onto the sand, wheezing, his face turning red. Farouk blinked. Jelani, are you? Then he took a sip. Now both of them were rolling on the ground, laughing like hyenas. Audio and Amina exchanged glances. We have to help them, Amina said. Audio nodded, then frowned. But how? Just then, a familiar voice purred from the shadows of the palms. Tisk, tisk, humans never learn. Dyke, the copper-furred fox, stepped into the light, his glowing eyes gleaming with amusement. Audio crossed his arms. You knew this would happen. Dyke flicked his tail. Of course. But you didn't ask for my help before rushing in, did you? Amina narrowed her eyes. What do you want? The fox grinned. A trade. A story for a cure. Audio groaned. Another game? Dyke's ears twitched. Life is a game, little human. Tell me a tale I've never heard, and I'll tell you how to save your friends. Amina thought quickly. Then she smiled. Fine. Listen closely. She began. Long ago, when the desert was young, the sky god fell in love with the earth. But the earth was already married to the ocean. Enraged, the sky god sent down a storm so fierce it split the land, creating the Great Rift. The ocean, heartbroken, retreated, leaving only tears behind, the lakes and rivers we see today. Dyke's ears perked up. A tragedy. I like it. Amina smirked. Now, the cure. The fox sighed. Very well. The laughter comes from the fruit, not the water. They must eat the thorn apple growing on the far side of the oasis, bitter as regret, but it will clear their minds. Audio rushed to fetch the prickly fruit, forcing it into Jelani and Farouk's mouths. They gagged, their laughter turning into coughs, then groans. Jelani sat up, rubbing his head. What happened? Farouk groaned. I feel like I've been trampled by camels. Dyke chuckled. Lesson learned, I hope. Then, with a flick of his tail, he vanished into the dunes. As the group prepared to leave, a new danger emerged. Low, guttural laughter echoed from the rocks. Amina froze. That's not the oasis. From the shadows, yellow eyes blinked into view, dozens of them.